Alrighty, morning everyone. Or I guess I should say good afternoon, because it's officially afternoon. It is currently Saturday, January 10th. The NFL wildcard games begin today. College football playoffs have been very good. Miami and Ole Miss was great. Indiana versus Oregon was not. Indiana beat the shit out of Oregon. Indiana might be the best team in college football history. Okay, no, they're not. It's LSU, 2019. But yeah, it's officially Super Wildcard weekend. We got two games today, two games on Sunday, and of course, correction, three games on Sunday, and then of course Monday Night Football, which we'll get to in a second. But simply put, this video we're gonna go over the Wildcard round and look over the games and who I think will emerge victorious in each of the Super Wildcard games. So, and again, I'm gonna be going over the lines based on what FanDuel says. So at least that way we can look at the betting lines to see what the odds are for each game. Not sponsored by FanDuel anyway. That's just the betting service that I use. When I do sports betting, of course, gamble responsibly, people. If you have a problem, get help. But yeah, starting off with the first game today, will be at 4:31 Eastern Standard Time. The Rams take on the Panthers. The Rams are the 5 seed in the NFC. They were second place in the NFC West. And of course, the Panthers won the NFC South, the division that nobody wanted to win. Spread favorites the Rams by 10.5. Rams are favorite in the money line at minus 590, with the Panthers at plus 430. And the over/under for this game is 45.5. What's interesting about this game is that the Rams, while they are a good team, they have been cold down the stretch. And the Panthers are wildly inconsistent. Now, these two teams did play in Carolina not too long ago. Obviously, the Panthers won that game. It was a very, very good game. That's what the Panthers can be when they're at their best, when Bryce Young is playing his best game. Obviously, they were cold against Tampa. They were cold against Seattle. They were cold against the Niners. They were cold against New Orleans. 4 games they really should have been more competitive in that they ended up losing. Meanwhile, for the Rams, they've just looked kind of iffy down the stretch. They've had some really bad games. They've allowed, I think, 30 points a game over the last month. So obviously that's going against the Rams. They've been a bit colder, but all that talent is still there. And obviously when you go into the playoffs, there's a chance for you to wipe the slate clean. Forget about how the season ended. You're in the playoffs. How do you win your first playoff game? So looking into this game, and I'll go over every topic. This game will be closer than 10.5. So for the spread, I would take Carolina at plus 10.5 to cover the spread. But I do think the Rams, because they played each other once, adjustments are made after the first meeting. Rams won the game. And I'm going to go, I guess, over 45.5. Like I said, both teams have struggled on defense down the stretch, really. And it was high scoring last time around. I expect to be the same thing this time. Yeah, Panthers will cover the spread, but I do expect the Rams to go into Carolina and get a victory and move on. So, moving on to the second game today, we have the Bears and the Packers. Spread favors the Packers by 1.5, with the Packers favored to win the game at minus 130, a very slim betting favorite towards Green Bay. The over-under is at 44.5. So obviously the Packers, they at the beginning of the season were like the favorite to win the Super Bowl. They were the team in the beginning of the season, and then they fell apart because of how badly hurt they've been. They have been brutalized on the injury front, and we don't even know if Jordan Love's going to be fully healthy going into the game, if he even plays or not. While the Bears, they've been inconsistent. The defense has been iffy, other than the interceptions. They've been pretty much carried by their interception stat. With that being said, the Bears are at full strength. The Bears have hung with the Packers. And really, this is a chance for Chicago to really get their revenge after the 10 years of just being Green Bay's little brother. So, it is very fascinating to me that Green Bay is favored to win this game. Because in my opinion, I do not have the Packers winning. Bears cover the spread at minus 1.5. Bears win the game. And I'm going to say it'll be over. It'll be over. I feel like Chicago's defense is It's not, again, it's not good outside of the turnover stat. They get a lot of turnovers, and that's it. Meanwhile, the Packers are just so severely hurt right now, while the Bears are basically full strength on offense, that it's going to be a high scoring affair again. So once again, I'm taking the over of 44.5, but I have the Bears covering the spread and winning the game. Then moving on to the 3 games on the Sunday slate, starting at the Packers Bears game is at 8 o'clock tonight. Moving on to the Sunday slate, we have Buffalo and Jacksonville. If you would have told me that after just one season of Liam Cohen, the Jaguars would have gone from one of the most inconsistent bottom of the league teams into a team that I think a lot of people think is going to win the Super Bowl this year, I would have thought you were crazy. But here we are. The turnaround from the Jags has been incredible, and it's been super fun to see Trevor Lawrence finally play up to the potential that I knew he had coming out of college. He hadn't had the right coaches to lead him. He had struggled with some inconsistency around him. This season, he finally played the way that we all expected Trevor Lawrence to play when he was the first overall pick out of Clemson in 2021. While Brian Thomas has kind of disappeared at times, Jacoby Myers has played very, very good, especially down the stretch. Jags defense is incredible, especially up front. Josh Hines-Allen is a beast. While Trayvon Walker did struggle this season, only 3.5 stats, he's still a very physical player. He's still very dangerous on the defensive front. Now we move on to the Bills. The Bills have been kind of limping a little bit. Josh Allen is still managing a foot injury right now, so that could hinder his mobility a little bit. Obviously, he only played a quarter last week, so he could be a bit more rested. He could be a bit more healthier going into this game. But that being said, the Bills' defense has not been anything to celebrate this year. It's bottom 5 in the NFL. At times, it looked worse than the Bengals' defense. I'm not even joking. And obviously, with Ed Oliver out, the Bills' defense is kind of relegated into nothing. It's been a really bad year defensively for Buffalo. It's basically been a full season long of Josh Allen saving the Bills' ass. Saving not just the Bills, but Sean McDermott's job for a while now. And while you could make the argument that Buffalo could be the favorite because of the fact that the only 2 teams they've struggled in the postseason against, and Kansas City and Cincinnati, are no longer here. They're not in the playoffs. They're nowhere to be seen. You could argue because of those 2 teams being gone that this could be Josh Allen's year to win it. And if you're Buffalo, this could be the year to win it, purely because the defense hasn't played that well, and most importantly, I think there's a lot of fans in Buffalo who want Sean McDermott gone if the Bills don't succeed. With that being said, Jaguars are a damn good team. To go over the lines real quick, spread favors Jacksonville at 1.5. Both teams have minus moneyline odds. Jags at minus 116, Buffalo at minus 102. The over-under is 51.5. I'm hammering the over. We might have a lot of overs this postseason, purely because a lot of the teams struggle on defense. Except for one game, which I'll talk about later, really. But for this game, take the over at 51.5. As far as who wins the game, Buffalo has the playoff experience. Jacksonville, in my opinion, has the better team. Jags cover on 1. I think Buffalo's defense is just working against them, really. There's a reason Buffalo had a bottom 5 defense this year. So Josh Allen plays a really good game, and Trevor Lawrence, which is why this game goes over 51.5 points. That being said, in my opinion, the Jags are simply a better team. With better structure. So Jags cover at minus 1.5. Jags win the game. And then moving on to the second game of tomorrow's slate, the 4:30 game is San Francisco and Philadelphia. Spread favors the Eagles at minus 5.5. Interesting. The money line favors the Eagles at minus 270 compared to the 49ers plus 220. Over under on the game is 44.5 points. I might bet the under here. This game could go either way. I wouldn't touch the over under on, because I could easily see it going either way. Niners have a good offense, but the Eagles have a great defense. Niners defense is hurt. Philadelphia has been just horrendously inefficient and just super hot or cold on offense this year. Kevin Patullo, where the fuck his name is, Nick Sirianni, have taken a Super Bowl winning offense and just run it off a cliff this season. That being said, Vic Fangio's defense is fucking incredible. The Eagles' defense has saved their asses so many times this year. Meanwhile, it's the opposite in San Francisco. Their offense has been incredible. And while Robert Saleh has definitely led a good defense, they are brutally hurt, which is what hurts them. Because both Bosa and Warner have been out for a while now. It might be tough picking a winner in this game. Personally, betting, I wouldn't touch it. Because right now, I just feel like there's so much in favor of each team and so much against them. You could legitimately flip a coin and have better odds of protecting this game. I'll say who I think's gonna win, but I would not bet on it at all because this game, again, I truly don't know who's gonna win. But if I had to make a prediction, the Niners are a warm weather climate team going to Philadelphia where it's going to be miserably cold tomorrow, I think. Is it even gonna be that cold tomorrow? Weather in Philadelphia. Oh, that's supposed to be terrible. Under 45, but the low's 31, which isn't terrible for winter. Alright, take the weather. Throw out the weather thing. It's not gonna matter for this game. Shit. The Eagles being favored at minus 220 is ridiculous. In my opinion, I think it's crazy that the Eagles are favored to win this game by that much. You know what? Because of how much better the Niners' offense has been. Niners cover the spread, Niners win the game. Boom. I said it. Simply put, the Eagles have a great defense, sure. That defense isn't going to score you many points unless they get turnovers and pick sixes and scooping scores. The Eagles' defense at times has barely been able to move the ball forward. At least the Niners' defense is hurt, don't get me wrong. They're not at full strength. The Eagles' offense is just too inconsistent. So I am going to take the Niners to win this game. So they cover the spread and the Niners win. Yeah, I like that one. So Niners going to Philadelphia and beat the Eagles. Sirianni and Patullo lose their jobs. That's my prediction. Moving on. Chargers and Patriots. Spread favors New England at minus 3.5. Patriots are favored to win the game at minus 196. The Chargers plus 164. Over under is 45.5 points. This game is in Foxborough tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Chargers, in my opinion, would be a Super Bowl contender if their offensive line wasn't just terrible. Their 2 all-pro tackles are hurt. Their 2 guards who they got have been played terrible. They've had 32 different offensive line combinations this season. And while the Chargers have still played really good on offense at the end of the day, when you're going up against Christian Barmore and this Patriots defense has actually been pretty solid this year, it's going to be a tough day for Herbert. With that being said, don't get me wrong, the Patriots are a really good team. Drake May is an MVP. The evil empire fell so the first order can rise. With that being said, they played the weakest schedule in the NFL this year. Their schedule was ranked 32nd in last place as far as toughness goes. They basically had it easier this year. Herbert has more playoff experience. Granted, it's not much more than Drake May. This is another game that I could see going either way here. Because on one side, I know the Chargers have a lot of talent on that team. Their defense has been pretty solid, playing up to potential. But their offensive line is just decimated. Granted, if the Bengals can make the Super Bowl, whatever offensive line they had when they played the Rams, then anything's fucking possible, I guess. It's in Foxborough, though, which is tough. because Foxborough in the playoffs has been basically a death sentence for a lot of teams. And it's going to be a death sentence for the Chargers. Patriots cover, and then Patriots win. Over under. Again, I wouldn't touch this one, but I would say over. Niners versus Eagles. I'm not even going to try to attempt that one because that one can go either way. This one, I guess both teams have a good offense, so it could be over, which is why it's somewhat lean towards the over. But it's a coin toss for me. But yeah, Patriots win. Patriots cover the spread. Simply put, you need an offensive line in the playoffs, and right now the Chargers don't have that. So Patriots win. And then last but not least, we go to Pittsburgh for Monday Night Football. Texans, the 5 seed in the AFC against Steelers. AFC North winner by default. And yeah, spread favors the Texans at -3, exactly -3, so no half point here. Texans are favored in the money line at -158 to the Steelers +134. Over under 38.5. Oh man, if this one was in the overs in the 40s, I would have said under, but it's not in the 40s. Here is why I don't have a hard time betting the over-under here, because Texans' offense has been really inconsistent. They're either elite or awful. But the Texans' defense, whew, that's a defense that can ball. In my opinion, the best defense in the NFL this season belonged to the Texans, and it wasn't even close. That Texans defense is man-eating. Highest paid unit in football, and they fucking play like it. They got a bunch of dogs on that defense. Will Anderson is a beast. That being said, and once again, Texans offense is really hot or cold. You don't know what you're going to get with them. You're either getting the elite offense led by C.J. Stroud in his rookie year form, or you're getting the terrible offense where C.J. Stroud can barely complete a pass. That running game has been terrible this season as well. Moving on to the Steelers side, I feel like they've legitimately run on luck this season. Steelers might be the luckiest team in football. Not only did they win that division that ran itself over, but they got away with a lot of bad performances. Obviously, you know what you're going to get with Steelers. DK's been good for the offense. Offense has been inconsistent overall. Defense has been the best part, but they've also had times where they've just been absolutely carried by TJ Watt, per usual. But my predictions here, Texans cover. Texans win the game. I'll go under 38.5. This is the first game, probably the only game I'd take the under for. This, in my opinion, is going to be a low-scoring game. Defenses are going to thrive. However, the Texans' defense makes more plays than the Pittsburgh defense. Texans get a walk-off field goal and win the game 20-17. Putting it just under the 38.5. So yeah, Texans win. I guess that would be Texans covering the spread because they would have won by 3 points. And then under on points. The under on 38.5. But yeah. Let me place on a bet real quick. This bet may not hit at all. So I did put the Bears money line because I do think the Bears are going to win. The fact that they have plus odds is fucking ridiculous because Green Bay has been ice cold with a dumb amount of injuries. And I'm not going to bet. I'm going to say Panthers cover the spread at 10.5. Anytime touchdown, I'm going to go Dowdle. And Puka. So yeah, this is my. I'm putting. I have $11.90 in my account. Fuck, I put $11.90 on the game. All right, this is an $11.90 bet to win $199.18. The Bears win. Panthers cover the spread at 10.5. And then Rico Dowdle and Puka Nacua score touchdowns. Boom. There it is. And that's my parlay for today. I'm probably not gonna bet tomorrow. But yeah, those are my playoff predictions. I'm just gonna predict a wild card round. Um, I've had terrible luck predicting whole playoffs, so I'm just predicting the wild card round. But yeah, to go over it once again, I got the Rams beating Carolina. I forgot what the other game was completely. How did I forget the game? Oh yeah, I got the Bears beating Green Bay. For tomorrow's slate, I have Jaguars beating Buffalo, Niners beating the Eagles, Patriots beating the Chargers, and on Monday night the Texans beat the Steelers. I don't know what matchups this will either be. But yeah, I know I'm taking a lot of favorites here. But simply put, this playoffs is wide open. I feel like for legitimately every team in the playoffs, they have something going for them, and they have something going against them. With that being said, my Super Bowl prediction is going to be Seahawks and Texans. I think the Texans make the Super Bowl. If they can just figure it out on offense a little bit, that defense is the perfect defense to win a Super Bowl with. And in general, I just think the Seattle Seahawks are the most complete team in the NFC. So yeah, I'm not going to go game by game, but I am just going to predict Seattle dominates the NFC and Texans make the Super Bowl. So yeah, that's it. See ya.